Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. And if you're listening in the podcast, thank you so much for being here. It is today's Tuesday, February 13, 2024. I heard about this story briefly when it happened, but I wanted to come and make a video about it. Just this past Sunday, February the 9th, 2024, on his way to the Super Bowl, financial banker giant CEO Herbert Wigwe was killed along with six other people, including his wife and his son, on a helicopter crash, an airplane crash, I guess I can say. And like I said, they were heading to the Super Bowl, okay? So when I first saw it, I'm like, this man, what a tragic loss, first of all, right? It's very sad. It tells you that life is so fragile. We really don't know when our last day is going to be. And I was like, it's really hard for me, it was kind of hard to understand why not that many people were speaking about it. We had such a big distraction with the Super Bowl, and people like it's the same pattern when it comes to the Super Bowl and like the Grammys and things like that. Every big event that gathers a lot of audience, in person and also, excuse me, on the media, days after hour, like you see news channels just talking about it, right? But this is so tragic. This man, a CEO, he was the CEO of Access Bank, a very influential person in Nigeria. He was financially worth, they're saying, $30 billion, and his wife and his son were also killed during this plane crash. Like I said, they were heading to the Super Bowl. I also mentioned, guys, that this man looks extremely familiar to me. I'm like, I feel like why he looks so familiar. And then I pinpointed, I'm like, that's who he looks like. This man looks like, if you don't remember, Michael Jackson's daughter, Conrad Mary. He was the one that was actually put in jail for giving Michael Jackson, I guess, additional propofol when he was requesting it because he wanted to sleep. And eventually, what happened, we all know what happened with Michael Jackson was that he lost his life back in, I believe it was 2009. So, oh, it was 2009. I just thought about it. February 2nd month, and this man died during the Super Bowl, February 2009. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. And it was also February 9. So it was just, you know, it's so crazy. I'm like, this man looks so familiar. I don't think there's any connection there, but I'm like, that's why he looks familiar. He looks like Dr. Conrad Mary. And I'm like, whatever happened with that doctor? I remember him being on trial and being like, um, defending himself. I remember him looking all like worried. He was being accused of doing that on purpose. I don't want to get into it. That happened many years ago, and I didn't really follow that story when it happened. All I knew that Michael Jackson died, but it was just crazy. For me, I'm like, that's who he looks like. This man looks so familiar to me. But anyways, going back to the death of Mr. Herbert Wigwe, like I said, a very influential person from Nigeria. Right now, they're saying, well, in the crash, and I'm gonna read to you guys this article. What they're saying is that not a lot of information is being released right now. And one thing I have to say, he died with, like I said, his wife was among the six there that died. Him, his wife, and one of his sons. This man had four children. So there are three who were left, and I cannot even imagine what they're going through right now, the entire family. So it tells you how fragile we are. We can build so much, we can gain so much money, we can think that we have control over our lives. At the end of the day, just like we don't know when we're going to be born, we really don't know when our last day is going to be. So what should be our number one priority? To have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. At the end of the day, nothing matters. Money will not matter. And I'm not saying he was a selfish person, nothing like that. I'm actually going to read to you so many things that he actually, like I said, he's very influential. He did so great for himself and his family, for his country, throughout his life. And looking at his tweets and his Instagram account, you can really see from what he posted that he looked like a very positive person. It's so crazy how talking about how life is so precious and how life is a gift. But then there are people out there who just wake up every morning to look in the negative, to make somebody else's life horrible, to create a smear campaign. And they think one day God is not gonna come knocking and say, to hold them accountable for all the evil things they have said about somebody, or perhaps um say things that are not true just so that they can look themselves better. Everything one day God is gonna hold you accountable. But anyways, going back to Mr. Herbert Wigwe, I gotta pronounce his name all over again because it took me a while kind of like to learn how to pronounce it. I hope I'm doing it right. Let me just read to you guys briefly this article. It says here, the chief executive of Nigeria, the largest bank, his wife and his son were among the six killed in a Friday night helicopter crash in a remote part of the Mojave Desert along the California-Nevada border. The Access Bank CEO, Herbert Wigwe, his wife Doreen Chisova, and son Chisi died in a crash along the former group chairman of Nigeria's stock exchange, Ambimola Ongubanho. I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Those identified were first released by the Director of General of the World Trade Organization, and that was posted on Twitter. And then Access Bank, which is the bank that he worked for, also confirmed their identities. The helicopter at the center of the deadly crash departed about 8:45 p.m. Friday from Palm Springs Airport in California en route to Boulder City, Nevada, about 26 miles southeast of Las Vegas, which on Sunday is the Super Bowl, hosted the Super Bowl. So while they were just heading 26 miles over to be partakers of this huge event, which I have the Super Bowl, man. I don't watch that stuff. I don't, not even to come and make a video, but I don't like to watch stuff like that. But anyways, I know that there's a lot of people who are very, they're like, it's just a game. Yeah, but within that game, there's so much presented. It's almost like we're gonna get your attention because this is a game, a sports game, or whatever, right? But when evil wants to work, they're very smart. They're very deceived. So they create this, dancers. Like I will never forget, in 2020, the Super Bowl was the Latino, the Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. Is like all this movement. Like I cannot imagine having a house full of family and kids, and they're all watching the Super Bowl. And then here comes these two grown women with kids dancing like that on the stage, and the whole world clapping at them. And people are like, well, I feel so proud because she's from my country, whatever that means. And then they wonder why little girls are looking up to them and saying, oh, I want to grow up and be just like them. Well, why would a little girl be desiring to dance and move like that at such a young age? Well, they see people like J-Lo and Shakira dancing like that, and the whole world is applauding them, saying how proud they are of them. What do you think girls are gonna, desire to be? But anyway, so enough of the Super Bowl. But like I said, this family was heading over to the Super Bowl, and I know people. That's like one in a lifetime. The people that get to go, and I cannot. He was taking his son to and his wife to it, so I'm sure they were like so excited just to be partakers of that. and be able to go. And it's just crazy. Life, that tells you when things like this happen, that tells you how life is so fragile. Okay. It says here that on Sunday, this past Sunday, they returned to the crash site using a drone. Witnesses reported that the helicopter caught fire after crashing, and weather conditions at the time of the crash, including rain and a wintry mist. I am shocked and deeply distressed by the news of the passing of Mr. Herbert Wigwe, a distinguished banker, humanitarian, and entrepreneur. Mr. Ambimbola Ongumbaho, the former group chairman of the Nigeria Exchange Group, along with members of the Wigwe family, Herbert's wife, Doreen Chisoba, and son Chisi, said Nigerian president in a statement. Their passing is an overwhelming tragedy that is shocking beyond comprehension. I extend my condolences to the family and the business community and all the impacted by the horrendous incident. So, like I said, this is very sad. I There's a lot of people talking about it too. Um, there's a lot of people talking about how this is somehow connected to some type of, I don't want to get into it because we cannot look at every accident and think there's something behind it, right? Like they always want to take down powerful people. They did that on purpose because people are saying, Mister, you guys know the person who holds the chair in this country was saying right after this happened, he actually tweeted something, and people are saying that's probably connected to it. And now that I think about it, you can really, your mind, right? Like once you get that in your mind, you can go crazy. He actually tweeted something like, just as we picture it, or something like that, or as we plan it, and then he had his eyes on fire. I'm sure a lot of people were able to see that photo of Mr. You know who I'm talking about. So I just, who knows, right? That's why you just have to look at what's in front of us, which is the news that is a family lost their life, and how life is so fragile. It's like whatever people think when it comes to being evil and causing people evil, or like conniving behind people's back, and like pretending that you are a good person and thinking that, you know, you're gonna speak bad about somebody just so that you can get away with other people. And you think whatever you do behind somebody's back to cause them any harm, don't ever forget that that person might not see it, but God sees everything. So one day, like I said earlier, somebody's going to be held accountable if this was a planned attack or whatever it was, right? So, speaking of Mr. Wee, let's go over some of the recent posts that he tweeted or put on Instagram, social media, so that I can show you a little bit of who he was. Um, on January 19, 2024, on his Twitter account, he said, "Today and always, let us remember that life is a precious gift, a chance to breathe, feel, love, experience, and connect. Let's honor this gift by living with purpose, kindness, and gratitude, making every moment count. Let us number our days." Amen. Right? And then 2 days ago, when the news of the tragedy, his company posted a photo with him, and he said, "Painful exit." And I'm going to read to you what it says. "With a heavy heart, we announce the passing of Mr. Herbert Wigwe, Group Chief Executive Officer of Access Holding. Herbert's visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to social impact initiative have left an indelible mark on Access Holding and the communities we serve. His legacy will never be forgotten." So, just going briefly before I came here to make this video, looking at his Instagram, you can really tell this is a very inspirational, influential person, very positive too, right? Like I said, I was thinking about this. God reminded me of something today. I've been thinking a lot, praying a lot. Um, but it's like sometimes you have to remember that Jesus, um, and I do apologize if you guys hear any background noise, but you have to remember that Jesus already died on the cross so that we can have eternal life. He already paid the sacrifice. So how can we, you know, not use life to live with purpose? Every day is a gift. Ask God what He wants to do with your life. If if you feel like you're missing out on some things, ask Him. And God said, asking you shall receive. So you can go on prayer, you can, fast, but rest assured that God will surely give you an answer. I have some photos to show you, so if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it after this. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Let me know what you guys think about this. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening in the podcast. God bless.